City Council just wrapped up an emergency meeting about COVID-19. They're trying to figure out where the city is vulnerable and what needs to be done. KOMO's Gabe Cohen is live at City Hall now with more on that. Gabe?
And Mary, just before that meeting inside of the council chamber here, the mayor made her own announcement. They're going to be adding 100 new shelter beds to try to get more homeless people out of what she calls unsafe encampments, places where the spread of a disease like COVID-19, the risk is much higher. The city also planning to now assess every senior center in Seattle to make sure that they are staying on top of the recommendations from health experts. They're also looking to help some of these struggling businesses, some reporting a 20 or 30% drop in business, and that could shut them down within 3 months. So the city now hopes to offer them some support and some possible funding. And the fire department says if the number of coronavirus-related calls spikes, they may only have enough protective equipment for 4 to 8 weeks. They're now waiting on more equipment to come in. Meanwhile, other departments on the east side have been dealing with quarantines. I asked the Seattle fire chief about that. What's your department doing to make sure that doesn't happen here?
We're wearing our PPE. We're giving them good information. We're planning. We're changing our dispatch protocols, like I mentioned, inside there. So we're doing all the things that are necessary. So we're trying to create that barrier to
President Mike Pence wrapped up his visit with state leaders about the coronavirus breakout just a few minutes ago. KOMO's Steve McCarran is live at Camp Murray now with more on what he had to say. Steve?
Yeah, Mary, this was a relatively short visit for Vice President Mike Pence. He left just a few moments ago from the Pierce County Readiness Center and will now head back to Washington, D.C. after being in Western Washington for about 3 hours. He called this a productive visit. He said he thinks the federal government has a good partnership with what is happening here locally when it comes to fighting this virus and trying to prevent the spread of it. He said the president asked him to be here today to assure state leaders that they have access to the full resources of the federal government right now to fight this. He did say right now it's an all hands on deck effort. He did offer condolences to the families of the 11 people who've lost their lives here in Washington state since this outbreak began. Some of those families told us today they wish Vice President Pence would have taken time to visit them and that facility up in Kirkland that appears to be the epicenter of this. He said he was pleased that the U.S. Senate passed about $8 billion in support to fight the coronavirus. Nearly half of that is for the purchase of medical supplies, which affect state and local health authorities. We do understand the president is expected to sign that legislation tomorrow when he visits the CDC in Atlanta. A lot of questions and concerns have been about the testing and tests that may not be available at this point. He did say the CDC has prioritized the delivery of coronavirus test kits to Washington and California right now. He said by the end of the week, CDC suppliers will distribute kits across the country that will enable to test about 1.2 million Americans, millions more even next week. Here is what he told us about those testing kits.
The CDC has been able to provide kits to Washington State to meet your demand, but we know that while we're meeting the demand of cases we know about today, we still have a ways to go to ensure the tests are available for any future cases.
And that's one of the things the vice president emphasized during his remarks just a few minutes ago, that there's still a ways to go in this effort to fight this illness. Again, a very short trip for him, only just a few hours, and now he is on his way back to Washington, D.C.
Monday, a big shift for the Northshore School District. Students will be learning at home on a computer. Last night, that district announced schools would be closed for up to 2 weeks over concerns with the coronavirus. KOMO's Kara Kosinich is live in Bothell with the latest.
And Mary, we spoke with a lot of parents today who are pleased with this shift to move learning out of the classroom, but this will not be easy for all parents, especially working parents. Today, the Northshore School District told me they have established a committee to work on childcare for parents in need.
So I was in the hospital for 42 days after my surgery.
Kim Trihorn is the mom of 2 students in the Northshore School District. She's also a survivor of a double lung transplant.
So now I take 12 medications a day and just have to be aware of my surroundings.
Kim is immune compromised and is especially grateful for the district's decision to close all 33 schools for up to 14 days and transition to online learning. Northshore Superintendent Dr. Michelle Reed.
We had sort of an increasing number of coronavirus connections across the district.
Reed says the district identified 26 schools where either students, staff, or parents were possibly exposed. In addition, more than 500 district staff were over 60 years old and 30 staffers are pregnant, the most vulnerable to the virus. So online learning is underway Monday.
I think there are parents frustrated with the decision, and what I would say is that given the fact pattern in front of me and the data, that my overriding commitment always will be the health and safety of their children.
The district is providing computers and hotspots to any families in need. So far, more than 2,600 have been issued. Northshore has also established a team for students with special needs and have assistive technologies and platforms to help.
This is where I do my homework.
Kim's son Jack, an AP student, has already transitioned from the classroom to the cloud right here at home.
I think it's going to be a bit weird to accommodate to at first, but the teachers are really kind and patient, and so I'm really looking forward to working with them with that.
And training for teachers and staff happened this week. Now, I've also been told that the food service team here at Northshore will be working to get food to children who are on free and reduced lunch.
Concerns about coronavirus and efforts to prevent the spread of illness are hitting our service industry hard. Tech industry giants like Amazon and Microsoft are recommending thousands of employees to work from home for the rest of the month. That's already starting to take a toll on some places. KOMO's Suzanne Fawn joins us live by the Amazon Spheres to explain. Suzanne?
All restaurants, street vendors, barbershops, especially around the Amazon Spheres, are seeing a big dip in business, and there's no telling how long that will last. Lunchtime by the Amazon Spheres means places are usually packed, but not today.
We would have a line backed up to the end of this walkway right here.
Business is down, way down for places like Wonderbles.
It's hitting us hard, and right now we're having talks of not coming back next week.
Directly across the street is Bishop's Barber Shop.
Today is I think the first noticeable bad day. Our books are completely empty.
Manager Steve McGill says the barbershop usually sees about 100 clients a day.
Since 9 a.m., I've done 2 people. Usually by noon, how long is that, 3 hours? I'll probably have done anywhere from 5 to 8 people.
Health authorities are telling people who are especially at high risk, anyone over 60 or pregnant women or anyone with underlying health conditions, to stay home and avoid large group gatherings. Tech giants like Amazon and Microsoft are advising employees to work from home for the rest of March.
This is our job. We can't telecommute doing hair.
Many businesses say the slowdown from people staying away or staying home is going to hit their bottom line.
We are a commission-based salon, and every single customer that comes into the shop, that's part of our paycheck.
People who are out and about notice the slowdown, and some wonder about the long-term impacts.
I think it's going to impact a lot of businesses. That's what I think, yeah.